Hey, what's up everyone, I'm back. Now you may be wondering, wow, an actually somewhat serious and not half-assed game review? Must be Christmas. To that I say, no you fucking idiots. There's just this overarching sense of dread that makes me feel as if I need to do something quote-unquote productive, hence these videos. Dead Island. This game is a certified hood classic. I remember playing this baby on my Xbox 360 on one of those old box TVs that you might have seen when your teacher came to show a movie back in kindergarten or something. And back then, this game was the best thing to me, despite the fact that I never actually finished it. I just mainly remember running zombies over for hours on end. I like to think I'm a little less retarded now. Anyways, I'm here to play through the game and see if my enjoyment was well-founded or if I was actually just mentally deficient. Hang tight, because this is going to be a little bit of a doozy. Now, the beginning cinematic where you first open the game really does hold up to my memories. You're acquainted with the main characters in the beginning of the apocalypse through a stumbling drunk with Sam B's ironic song, Who Do You Voodoo Bitch, in the background. It's not ironic because of the name, it's ironic because of the lyric. I got a zombie army and you can't harm me. I just felt the need to explain that, but as you're getting escorted out by the security guard, he gets attacked and you just wander into the woman's bathroom and you're like, alright, go back to your room and then do exactly what the bottle tells you not to do and pass out. And scene. Now let's talk about the story. Introducing the main characters as seen in the opening cinematic. Logan, the throwing expert. Ex-pro quarterback, because he was let go after a drunk speed racing accident which ended up killing a girl and shattering his leg. He's here on the island for a blood drive promotion. You would think out of all the people they'd choose a better model, but dang. Peruna, the firearms expert. She's a former detective, and as opposed to Logan, she has actually good reason for being let go. She ended up serving 12 years in prison for nearly killing a man that was molesting his daughter. And after she was released, she wound up finding new work in being a bodyguard, which is the reason she's at the island. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Zian? I don't know. Sharp weapons expert. You can really tell that these expert names are really getting creative. Anyways, she's a martial artist and a Chinese police officer sent here to the island to spy on the Westerners. I feel as if this is very modern, to say the least. Something on the nose about that. Sam B, the blunt weapons expert. He's a famous rapper, but more of a one-hit wonder due to his only famous song being the one played in the opening cinematic, Who Do You Voodoo Bitch, and that being the reason for him being on the island to perform. And finally, we have Ryder. He's not one of the main four, you get him after completing the game, but I feel confident in being able to spoil that due to the game being over 10 years old, but he's a military man, officer person, there to train the Hanoi Defense Force. Playing him gives you a different story that we'll get to later. You wake up in the room that the guy passed out in the opening cinematic, which means whoever the character you chose was the one in the opening cinematic, which doesn't make sense because how would they? Okay, I'm just being nitpicky, but it's just something I noticed. Anyways, you make your way to an elevator shaft that winds up following a measly 5 stories, which is where you hear a voice directing you to the stairway where you get knocked out by a zombie. Shortly after that, we're saved by Cinnamon and promptly return the favor. Shortly after this ordeal, we learn from the voice in the hotel that we're immune to the plague or virus or whatever. After that conversation, Cinnamon has a great idea to move everyone in the beach house to the guard station, but to do that, we need to get the key card. As we go to find the key card, we meet Ted, sitting in a pool of blood mourning his family.
We do not care.
We get the key card, bring it to Samoy. He tells us we need to clear out the lifeguard station. We go clear out the lifeguard station and meet the thug. Once the station is clear, we let Samoy know and it goes ahead and brings everyone over. We go to the lighthouse antenna and meet James again. Apparently, James and Cinnamon had a falling out after saving me. He was the guy next to Cinnamon when we were getting picked up. Yeah, I didn't even know that. We find a way into the warehouse, get the antenna, bring it back to Dominic, and go help Mike burn the bodies. From here, we do some fetch quests for Samoy that leads us back to the hotel to get an armored truck where we meet David, another man on the intercom. There's a lot of people on intercoms in this game. He helps us get to the garage in exchange for finding his partner Ken. We find him, he's not in good shape. We give him a morphine overdose, reset the security, and leave. While we were getting the truck, a helicopter crashed nearby, so we go to that and we meet the suicider and Nikolai, who we guide to a bunker. Back at the station, Samoy wants to beef up the truck to be able to go into the town. So we take it to the mechanic where Earl and Jin reside. Earl is already been. Thankfully, his work ethic is unmatched because he still puts in work for our truck. We get our truck tanked up, and since Earl is about to clock out, he leaves Jin as our mobile storage, and I will refer to her as nothing but that. Once we get our cool truck, mobile storage suggests that we go to the city of Moresby's church to get more supplies. So that's exactly where we go. we get to the church and find a ram. After we kill the ram, we talk to Mother Helen. That aside, we go and turn off the bells and go turn the water back on where we run into Bandit. We kill them, save Antonio and Hank, turn on the water by closing some fire extinguishers, escort Joseph to the sewers, lower the floodgates, and meet your mom. Yeah. I make my way through the sewers, get to the city hall, and meet the policemen that basically welcome me with open arms. Kind of weird, they just leave their sewers open and welcome whoever goes through with open arms. Canonically, there's like 4 of us, heavily armed men, and they just are like, hey, whatever. We go talk to the mayor, he says he can't provide us supplies. And this is where I think the story gets kind of interesting. The gang decides that it's best to just say fuck it to everyone. We ain't no Batman or some shit. We just want to go find the radio man, right? But our mobile storage is like, nah, bro, we helping these bitches, or I'm leaving you with jack shit, cause she has a truck. And so they have no choice. And apparently Josh knows what we're looking for and directs us to a supermarket. And that's where we head. We get to the supermarket, kill the bandits there, get a truckload of supplies. I have no clue what's going on with the skybox here. Run back to the overrun city hall. Damn, rip Josh. We deal with Todd, grab his key, and run back to the church where we learned that our mobile storage got her stupid ass stuck at the police station. So we gotta go save her. We get to the police station, kill everyone in it, get our mobile storage back, and head back to the church. We give them the supplies and go do the same for someone at the station. In order to reach the radio man, we gotta go to the hotel roof and use the radio so that we can learn that Colonel Ryder White is the man on the radio, and he's at the prison. We just gotta get to him through a smuggler named Moen, and they're starting to uncover the Chinese spy. Ooh, onwards to Moen. Moen is in the jungle, and the only way to get to the jungle is through a bunker. So we make our way to the bunker, get to the jungle, taking our mobile storage along with us so that she can double as a guide. Once we get to the jungle, it's revealed that Ryder wants to use our blood so that he could cure his wife. But in order to do that, we need to get to a lab deep inside the jungle. So we're both asking around for Moen while going to the lab. We eventually reach a village where we ask Moto, where Moen is. And he agrees to take us to him under the condition we get back their guns for him. Easy enough, right? No, we get there and we run into Baraka from fucking Mortal Kombat, aptly named the Butcher. We get the guns, go back to Moto, and he says we need a boat to get to Moen. With this new knowledge in hand, we go to Afrin's base, massacre his men, kill Afrin himself in the easiest boss fight ever. Fucking 3 grenades. Take the boat, and finally get to meet the world-renowned Moen. And after all that, apparently this fucker actually doesn't know how to get to the prison, but he knows how to get to the lab, so that's like 1 out of 2. And according to Moen, this is where all the zombies came from. Upon our arrival, we meet Will, another man speaking to us through the speakers, and he lets us in the laboratory. In the lab, we meet Dr. West. Never mind. And according to Dr. West, the purpose of the lab is to quote-unquote test cosmetics away from prying eyes, so to say. But now Dr. West has repurposed the lab to research the infection. He grabs a blood sample from us. I don't know what he's doing, but while that's going on, we do some shit around the lab, irrelevant stuff. But after that's done, we come back to see our results. And long story short, we're immune. We knew that, but there's also immune natives, and Dr. West here wants us to get a blood sample from them to get antibodies. When we get to the native village, we meet their leader Oak, who puts us through this sort of arena challenge that we beat with the breeze, and he allows us to get a blood sample from the challengers. I don't understand how this works, because we got it from an infected native, but whatever. I was half expecting to not have anywhere to bring the sample to, but Dr. West was actually waiting eagerly for our present, and we get tasked to help out more while he tests it. And as it turns out, the natives have been living among the virus for years. Well, the one that takes 12 years to affect a person. This is a mutation. But the same principle, I guess. I don't know, I'm not a biologist. Dr. West wants a non-mutated strain to form the vaccine. We get him a non-mutated strain from a mummified native in this ancient place that Ope led us to, and we kill him for no real reason. We could have just stopped him from attacking Yurima, but oh yeah, we also run into Yurima, who's just there. So that's nice. We bring Yurima to the lab along with the mummy, and he tests them while we go talk to Moen about the prison route. And as it turns out, he did know the way, but before he can take us, we gotta get some stuff. Gas, a key to get into the prison from the town, and we gotta modify the boat so that we don't blow up from the mines. And during this, our mobile storage goes in the garage to finish off her dad. Afterwards, we find out the lab has gotten overrun. So it turns out that Dr. West was a racist and essentially caused the lab to be overrun by letting all the zombies out. There goes the cure. As it turns out, Dr. West left us with the cure. So lucky for us, or Ryder actually. Okay fellas, this is the end game. Once we go to the prison, there's no turning back. This is the end all be all. This is what my 4 pages script has led up to. We call it in and head to the prison. We strike up a deal with Titus, sort of the kingpin of the prison group. He wants us to free his friend and get him some weapons. And in exchange, he helps us get to Block C. So we free his friend, bring him back to Titus, and head to the armory to get weapons. But to get into the armory, we need the master key. So we go get the master key, get the weapons from the armory, bring them back to Titus, and he got pissed off that there was just ammo. So he opts for food instead. And then he circles back to weapons again after there's no food. We try to go to another armory to get more guns for Titus, but Ryder contacts us and tells us not to do it, and sends us to Block C through the sewers. Through the sewers, we end up in the shower room and make our way to the elevator, where we run into our mobile storage in Yerma. Apparently, there was an uprising against Titus, and on the way here, Moen sacrificed himself to save our mobile storage in Yerma. We step into the elevator and get gassed by, take a guess? Come on, guess. There's only one right answer. It was Kevin. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. It was Ryder. He took the vaccine off of us and he's headed to the roof to evacuate, so we gotta get there before him. But to get to him, we gotta fight through all his men and a bunch of zombies to get to the helipad. And once we do, our mobile storage releases his wife and ends up getting Ryder bitten and herself killed. This is supposed to be a sad scene, but I can't be sad when I look at her face. Like, I tried to feel it, but I couldn't happen, man. Because Ryder's infected now, he tries to use the antidote on himself and ends up becoming some mutant, being the last battle we must face. And it was way easier than it should have been. The story ends on a cutscene of Kevin flying the gang out on a helicopter. The destination is unknown, with a news broadcast covering the entire situation of the island. I never actually introduced Kevin. I just realized that he was the guy on the intercom guiding us throughout the entire prison. It wasn't actually Ryder. He was impersonating him for the most part. But anyways, as mentioned before, playing as Ryder nets a different playthrough, which is basically a recap of the events that led to Ryder being at the prison for the normal playthrough. I'm not going over it because I forgot to record. But basically, here's an MS Paint rendition of it. Plane crash, Ryder make bridge go boom. He go to ship. He said no cause wife bitten. He goes to prison, turns on power, gives wife medicine, and apparently the doctors weren't actually racist. The girl, I forgot her name already. She was just being retarded and wouldn't give Dr. West a blood sample, so she locked herself in this cage. And Kevin let all the zombies go, which got the lab overrun. So Dr. West isn't the bad guy, okay? I think we're the bad guys. Ryder sets up trap for us, grabs vaccine, and the rest is what plays out at the end normally. Yeah, that's the story. On to the gameplay. The melee fighting in this game is absolutely wonderful. I love it. I don't know what it is about it that I love, but holy shit, man, it feels so good. It's simple. All you gotta do is hit, kick, get hit, but not easy, because if you get caught off guard with no stamina, you get knocked on the ground and gangbanged. And each hero has their own skill tree that allows them to get special moves and buffs based on their specialty, which kind of diversifies the gameplay but also restricts it, because outside of their specialty, they're useless, but inside their specialty, they're great. For example, I'm just gonna use the Chinese spy because I played through as her, but she has this special ability called Fury, and it lets her go crazy with a knife, and her skill tree is involved with doing extra damage with sharp weapons or special moves. The gunplay though, it's I don't like it that much. It feels really lame and weird. The sensitivity when aiming is so bad, and the aiming in general is pretty bad. If it weren't for the bandits, I wouldn't have used melee the entire game, but it's way easier to deal with them with guns. And there's some parts where you have to shoot them down, but on the plus side, at least they don't have durability. The voice acting for the people is kind of meh. It's ironic that I'm saying that, considering my commentary is pretty below meh, but the zombies are absolutely wonderful. The noises that the zombies make go along perfect with the game. The way they look and how they interact with your weapons when they get hit, it's honestly also good. I'm amazed that I wasn't freaked out by this game when I was younger, because I was a massive bitch back then. And hearing and seeing the infected run towards me today still has me stressed out. But on that topic, the zombie types. We got walkers, self-explanatory, the basic kind of zombie. Infected, basically another way of saying runner zombie. The thug, a bigger and slower zombie that hits like a truck and sends you flying. Suicider, you get close to it and it goes boom. it's a one-shot. The ram is like a thug in a straitjacket, which has a weak spot on his back. The floater, which is basically the boomer from Left 4 Dead minus the explosion and the bile does okay, it's not the boomer, but it's fat and it shoots acid. Butcher, arguably the scariest type of zombie, but it's pretty easy to kill. It's just really scary. But zombies aren't the only ones you gotta look out for in the game. There's also human type enemies, which don't really have different types. They're either pistol bandit or machine gun bandit. It's time to get on with the problems. I'm not sure if these are remedied by the definitive edition, but the driving. Sure, it was useful, but it felt like I was sliding on ice everywhere and it was an absolute mess to deal with. Not only that, the weapon wheel and overall menu navigation was terrible due to how slow the sensitivity was. I had to swipe my mouse across the table to get it across the screen. And the game just felt way too easy. Sure, the fighting was fun, but more often than not, you just run through all the zombies if you don't need to kill them. But the boss fights, the fact that I killed Afran with 3 grenades without knowing what the fuck was going on was so disappointing. And the fact that the Ryder fight was literally just press Z and go crazy, I don't know. It just wasn't challenging enough for an end-all be-all fight. Also, there was like this glitch where the gas cans didn't have an explosion. It wasn't like detrimental to my playing experience, but it was just odd. Alright, so finally, I'm not a story analyst or critic. I'm pretty easily entertained, but the story was kind of bland. It wasn't bad, just repetitive after the church arc. It would have been really nice if they went through with the fuck it, we ain't helping them route, but oh well, I suppose. Still fairly good in my opinion. So that just leaves us with the Ryder campaign, and I think it was kind of nice. Like, it's a cherry on top, and it provides some exposition to him as a character. Like, yeah, he was an unrelenting killer, but he had a soft spot for his wife, and he tried everything he could to save her, even when the world was at risk. He's so romantic. Time for the final rating. I give it an 8 out of 10. I think I'll let my nostalgia into this, but fuck it, it's my show. I get to set the rating, okay? But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. This is honestly one of the highest production quality videos I've made so far. Not meaning that was good, but meaning I put a bit of work into it. I tried to keep it short, but catch you next time on Dead Island Riptide, or whatever shitpost I decide to make between then. Twitch.tv/psychop, by the way.